So what's good, homies? It's your man, Dr. BOA. You know, a lot of times you hear men talking about the modern woman as if he's going to be able to find the type of woman that his grandmother was, or his great grandmother was, or in some cases, even the type of woman his mother is. Here's the problem that men don't understand. Your grandmother, great grandmother, mother may have been phenomenal women, but they would not have been the same quality of woman they were had they been around during this social media era and engaged in social media actively like the modern woman is. Social media has changed the dynamic between what a woman really is and what she believes she is, because she can live in that fantasy world online. Your grandmother is not going to be replicated in today's society. And somebody sent me a video on IG that shows just that. See, when I say it, you guys always have something to say about it.
Well, BOA says this and BOA says that.
Let's see how you feel when you hear this woman say it. Now, someone else may listen to this video and say that this woman is tearing men down and she's trying to scold men. No, she's not. She's just telling you men that women of today are not going to be what your great grandmother was. Why? Because they don't want to be, because they don't respect what your great grandmother was. Let's take a look at this video, man. We'll come back and chop it up on a real tip.
Men always like to bring up the fact that their grandmothers were able to keep their...
It's hilarious, and she's preaching, because I've been saying this for years. It's naive to romanticize old school relationships based off nothing but longevity. Now, a 40-year marriage is definitely something to aspire to, and I'm not saying that all of your grandmothers were in toxic relationships, but facts are facts, and some of them went through hell, okay? Fannie Mae went through hell. Some of y'all grandpas was like, from Harlem to Mississippi, had kids in every state. Your grandmother knew about it, but she could not leave because she was, number one, indoctrinated to believe that she could not survive without a man. Two, had no resources or financial standing. She could not even get a bank account if Willie Earl did not sign off on it. Some of them had to suffer through abuse and mistreatment because if they left, they would not be able to feed their children. Stop reducing that to them just being ride or die, because it's honestly disrespectful. We live in a different time that we should be grateful for. Stop encouraging women to struggle and suffer because your grandma did.
Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is how this woman is probably not some woman that any of us would desire to wife anyway. So I can kind of see why she may seem to be a little bit perturbed by this entire discussion. But when she says your grandma couldn't do this, your grandma couldn't do that, there were several black female millionaires in the 1900s, even the 1800s. So if there were black women millionaires in the 1800s, the modern woman like this scallywag who says, well, your grandma was this or your grandma was that, she don't know what she's talking about at all. Because my grandma was paid. My grandma was a registered nurse and a teacher with her own crib, her own brand new Chrysler Fifth Avenue, her oldest daughter, brand new Corvette. So what we're talking about, and I'm talking about one of the biggest pretty houses on the block. So what we're talking about here is a woman who is finding a reason to explain why the modern woman is not open and receptive to being what you would want her to be. How is a woman suffering when 9 times out of 10, you can't make it on your own anyway? You can have a lot of stuff, but having stuff don't mean you're making it on your own. The majority of women you see are living check to check, no matter how much money they make. She's probably living check to check. See, what you men have to understand is that the modern woman doesn't want to be a wife. She just doesn't want to be labeled a harlot. So she would rather have a husband, and then no matter what she does, she's still a wife. She doesn't want to be your wife because she's a good girl. She doesn't want to be your wife because she's ready to embrace the responsibilities of being a wife. She wants to be your wife because no matter who she is known as in the streets, no matter who she impresses with her skills, no matter who she doesn't impress with her lack of skills, no matter where she goes, no matter how she portrays herself out there, when she comes home, she's still a wife. These women want to become a wife as a bailout to their reputation. Because no matter what anyone says, if a woman has your ring on her finger, she is still your wife. So she can do whatever she want to do in the streets. She can do whatever she want to do on the scene. But you have established a bond with this woman that you have sworn not to let anyone come between. So she can go sleep with Tom, Dick, and Harry, and you're going to come back to her and embrace her because she's the one you married. No man on this planet can tell me that he looks at modern women and sees his grandmother. If you say that, you're just stupid. No man can look at a modern woman and say, your actions and attitude remind me of my great-grandmother. Because you're lying if you say you do. It's impossible to have that kind of woman in modern society. And for some of these reasons she says, they're correct. Modern women have every opportunity in the world to go build a life of their own. Why does she want to be your submissive, bow down, step and fetch your kowtowing wife? She doesn't. So if you want a wife with one of these modern women, you're going to have to come down off of that traditional manhood outlook, that traditional man role, that traditional gender role outlook. And the problem is the realest men among us don't want to come down from that. We want to pay the cost to be the boss because we like being the boss that much, but we'll pay the cost to be the boss. The problem is this. If you're a man who's willing to pay the cost to be the boss, you are not going to have a submissive woman regardless. Because these women are not built to play that role. They don't want to play that role. She would rather struggle and live check to check on her own just to say that I take care of myself. These women don't even want you to take care of them. They don't want a provider. They don't want a man who pays the cost to be the boss. Listen, they're getting to the point where they don't even want a beta provider unless they're a scallywag or Instagram model or Instagram thought or something like that. Yes, then they want the bag. But the majority of women that we come into contact with out here, man, they're trying to score their own bag. They would rather secure their own bag. And that signals the end of the traditional relationship. And by traditional, I do mean the legal marriage. The constructs of legal marriage don't fit. They haven't fit in 30 years. And they certainly don't fit now because women are not inclined to stay with you through thick and thin anymore. If you've been married for less than 10 years, man, your woman ain't dedicated to sticking with you through thick and thin. You guys been married for a year or you've been with a woman for a year or 2 years, man, you might as well hang it up. That is not going to last. Relationships these days don't last long term because women are not going to buy into the process of the progress of the relationship. They want everything for themselves. They want to give a lot. They want you to give a lot and receive nothing. A woman will tell you all types of things that she wants and that she needs. And she'll do this if you do this. And if you show her this, then she'll do this. She wants you to act so she can react. She wants your action to be the stimuli that cause her to respond, but that's not how this goes. That's not how leadership plays out. Stop believing that your grandmama is out here, man. Unless you want a woman your grandmama age. But stop believing you're going to find a 20-some-year-old woman with the mindset, the self-respect, the you respect that your great-grandmama had. Because those days are long gone, homie. And they ain't never coming back. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Sims claiming that they pimps, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down.